to withhold that which was given so lavishly to us.
Join Peter Rosenberger on Hope for the Caregiver, Saturdays at 7 a.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Central on American Family Radio.
It's First Time Caller Day on Trivia Friday. The number to call with your question or your answer to a question is 888-589-8840.
It is first-time callers, so start lining up, folks. If you've never been on the show with us, today could be your day.
So first-time callers only today. Now we're going to ask 3 questions each.
The quack of a duck does not produce an echo. Is that true or false?
That falls under the category of it's just wrong. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trivia Friday right here on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening to AFR on this Friday. It's March 1st, I think, isn't it?
It
Ed,
is, yeah.
JJ, Ed, welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
JJ Jasper.
Great to be here. Did you guys hear that the state of Louisiana discovered another bayou? They named it the loneliest bayou in Louisiana, and it's called Bayou Self. Hey, Bayou Self.
You know,
Yeah, we got it.
Hey,
We got it.
my friend
got
Jason
it
Harlow
first time.
just sent that to me, so that's fresh out of the dad joke
by
oven.
yourself.
Yeah,
You
and
know-
they got a song that goes with it. One is the loneliest bayou. One is
You know,
the
for
loneliest
I would say
bayou.
probably 25% of your jokes, the funniest part of it is kind of like that Johnny Carson bit where you kind of make fun of your own jokes, or
Right, right.
or then you start to ad lib off the corniness of it,
Right?
because that was pretty corny. Who'd you say sent that to you?
Jason Harlow, we're in Sunday school together. We go to church together. Great guy. And
Jason,
I
that
just
was
got-
tough to take. I'm just going to tell you. And
yeah, that just came in on the phone, so that's hot off the press right there for you folks.
All right, Trivia Friday it is on American Family Radio, also known as
Learning University.
So Learning University is on the air. We're going to be asking trivia questions so that we can all educate ourselves together.
And
yeah.
first-time callers, as was mentioned earlier.
What does that mean, JJ?
It means that a lot of you say, I've tried to get on for months, for years. I'm never able to get through. This morning, if you've never gotten through before, if you've never been on the air with Learning University, that's the only person allowed to call this time. So it's going to be a great
Only
chance for
people.
all new people
Yeah.
to get in on the show.
and I'm going to go ahead and give the number because
Go ahead.
people are just now finding out maybe that it's
So you got to be this is for first-time callers
First-time
only
callers.
today. All right, go ahead.
In terms of if you've never gotten on, you
Right.
may have tried before, you can still call in, but only if you've never got on the air with us. Here's the number to call for first-time callers here on Trivia Friday, 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840 is the number to call to get on with us. Trivia Friday, first-time callers only. You must be 11 years old and older to get on the air.
Okay, is there anything else we need to say? Before
Well, yeah, we got to talk about that there
Oh,
cup
yeah.
you've got.
if you answer a special the mystery question, which you will hear the sound of
Ah, the beloved cowbell.
shall ring, and all the world will know you've won yourself a AFR stainless steel travel mug. And whether you travel with it, we don't really care. Or you can travel
You can use it anywhere.
You can use it anywhere. You
Travel
can,
from room to room.
Room to
Yeah,
room.
as long as you honor, the name of it.
yes, travel mug, and I got it right here. I will now demonstrate.
Here we
yes.
go.
Now, folks, for those of you watching online, you'll be able to see Tim balance this cup on his head. For those of you who want to know how to join those who are watching, we do have a live video stream for this program. There are 3 ways for you to access that live video stream. You can go to Facebook and search for Today's Issues. That's
Doing it.
actually the
Go
name
ahead.
of the
Hurry
show.
up.
You can go
Hurry up
to
and look, people.
YouTube and search for Today's Issues Live, or you can go to streaming.afa.net.
What
That's
am I
our
doing
own
now? Yeah.
streaming. Streaming. You're not only balancing the travel mug, you're
Right.
doing the finger guns, the infamous finger guns. That's right. Like the local lounge lizard.
All right.
Hey, baby, you were there,
Here we
the
go.
front row.
I'm about to do it again next week, but you have to get online earlier to watch it if you
That's
missed
right.
that. Or go back and watch the video of the show. Trivia Friday is on American Family Radio. You're up, Ed.
All right.
You're on.
Here are my 3 questions. First question. What famous actor made his lead actor debut in the 1958 science fiction film classic, The Blob? What famous actor made his lead actor debut in the 1958 science fiction film classic, The Blob?
If that movie came out today, would you go see that?
No?
A movie named The Blob?
I wouldn't pay money.
We were
to see it.
pretty limited back then. weren't we?
Yeah.
I saw this when I saw the first part of it when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
My dad let me stay up on a Friday night to watch it. It scared me so much he sent me to bed. I said, "Oh, Dad, come on." He said, "No, you're this is scaring you." So I'm laying in bed down the hallway and can hear people screaming and stuff on the television.
All by yourself.
All by myself.
In a dark room.
Thinking about the Blob rolling down the
Guys, I'm like you.
hallway.
Just the theme song of Outer Limits
Yep.
just caused chills and the hair on the back of my neck. Oh, I can't. Oh, I just don't have enough. I don't have enough inner strength to watch the rest of this show. It was and Alfred Hitchcock. All of his shows, boy, they were just
creepy turns.
creepy and get a plot twist all the way to the very end,
Yep.
and then you wonder,
Twilight Zone.
yeah, and the Twilight Zone. That's
That's one of the first ones I remember that fall into that category. I don't remember Outer Limits. Twilight Zone was like you watch the Twilight Zone, then after it's over, you look at whoever's watching it with you, and you go, "What did we just watch?"
right, and you tiptoe down the hall to go to your bedroom,
Yeah.
and just waiting for something to jump out
Yeah.
and get you.
All right.
All right.
Second question. What famous product did John Pemberton create? A man named John Pemberton. What famous product did John Pemberton create? And this third and final question I got from one of our employees, fellow co-employees here. Dr. Robert Youngblood gave me this one. This is a little bit wordy, folks, but I think you'll catch on to what I'm asking here pretty quickly. Who is the NBA player with the most consecutive games hitting at least one three-point shot? And how many games long was that streak? Who is the NBA player with the most consecutive games where this player hit at least one three-point shot? And how many games long was that streak? I'll give you a hint. The person you're thinking of is probably the right person, but it's that game-long streak that's probably going to be hard for folks. So,
All right, here's what
You
I've
think?
got.
I will get, if you're pretty close, I'll give it to you.
First question from the Bible. The land God promised to the Israelites fleeing Egypt was called a land flowing with what 2 things?
Down under.
Flowing down under. The land
No?
that God promised to the Israelites fleeing from Egypt was called a land flowing with what 2 things?
So, Tim, with your guess there, you're probably thinking at least one of them shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the what, Ed?
On the Bobby.
Second question, which is the only planet in our solar system to rotate clockwise? Which is the only planet in our
big
solar
question.
system to rotate clockwise?
Always one in the group.
Always one in the
That's how that phrase started right there.
And then, and I'll go ahead and tell you it's not Pluto.
Okay.
Because that will just give you a hint.
Yes.
They got kicked out, and nobody knows who the committee was or how they came up with that vote. I'm not sore about that. Third question, true or false? NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made more than 11,000 shots, 11,000 points, but made only 1 three-pointer.
Really?
Is that true or false? Well, maybe not.
Oh, I see. Okay, true or false.
NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made more than 11,000 points in his career, but only 1 three-pointer. True or false?
And if that is true, then he is not the right answer for my question.
I was thinking about that when you said it.
All right, here's my 3 questions from for baby boomers pop culture here. You ready for this one? I try to have a baby boomer question. Because we're, We're in the end of the third quarter.
We're running out of runway.
We're running.
We're in the fourth quarter, boys.
Yeah. All right. So here's the question: in the 1970s hit sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter, what was John Travolta's character's name? Full name.
Full name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Full name. Got it?
Got it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the answer. But
Okay.
That's a good baby
That
boomer
is a good
question.
All right. Now, from American history and the world of invention, I want to know, we all know that, we should know that Orville and Wilbur Wright were the pioneers in flight, right?
Yes.
Also microwave popcorn.
Same thing. I think you got your Orville's mixed up, Ed.
It's easy to do.
But keep trying. So Orville and Wilbur Wright, they were from Dayton, Ohio. They invented flight, right?
Yeah.
I want to know what decade that happened. I'm not going to ask you
Oh,
specifically
that's
what.
good.
I'm not going to ask you specifically what year, although if you know it, that's great.
Yeah.
Without looking it up. But what decade was that when they invented flight?
Good. And here's the deal about Ed's thing with the other Orville. That was Orville Rickenbacker. He had great popcorn he invented, and he was also a World War II fighter pilot. If you can do two things well, you got something good to put on your resume. It's something good for them to write on your tombstone.
He was called the Red Baron. That was his nickname.
That's right.
And then he went on to invent frozen pizza.
That's right.
All right, number 3. Which tree has beautiful white bark that peels naturally? Which tree has beautiful white bark that peels naturally?
I think I know the answer to that.
All right, let's go.
All right. First stop, folks, is Arkansas, and Iris is on the line. Iris, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Iris. Thanks for calling. Where you live in Arkansas?
I live in the little crossroads community of Plainview.
Okay.
Nice.
Which if I look
It's
at
just
them,
north of Searcy.
north of Searcy. Okay, got you.
Hey, Iris,
North of Searcy.
I'm going to be in Batesville this fall for a pregnancy center banquet.
Oh.
So is that close to
Okay.
you?
It's about 45 minutes to an hour, according to how fast you drive.
Well, you can
Yeah.
drive fast or slow, but come on out this fall, and we always love to meet our listeners.
Well, thank you.
All right, you want to ask, answer, or both, Iris?
I want to do both.
Okay, which one do you want to answer?
The Promised Land.
All right, here's the first question right out of the Bible. The land God promised to the Israelites fleeing Egypt was called a land flowing with what two things, Iris?
The drama.
Milk and honey.
A land flowing with milk and honey.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for reading the Bible.
Drama was so intense I could hardly take it. I was just so worried Iris was going to miss that.
Hey, now, a lot of people that don't read their Bible, you'd be surprised how many people
Well, they shouldn't
don't
be
know
calling then. I mean, I got an answer for you, JJ. Either way you go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, good on you,
that.
Iris.
Yes, Iris.
Yeah,
thanks
Iris.
for
Way to
knowing
go,
the word.
Iris. What is it? Where is that verse, Iris? You
Well,
know?
it's over and over again.
Where is it? It's everywhere.
all,
Yeah.
through, all through the Bible.
It just says early on that Moses says,
Yes.
God's given Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He's promised us this land flowing with milk and honey.
Yes.
What's your question for us, Iris?
Okay. Now, I just run across this the other day, and I don't know if anybody's ever caught it before or not, but I had not. In the Old Testament, there is an incident of a miraculous feeding of a multitude. Can you tell me the prophet and what he used?
The prophet that oversaw the miraculous feeding of the multitude, like Jesus did in the New Testament.
Yeah, I think I know which one she's talking about.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
had they
It's like Jesus.
Okay.
That's,
right. It
that's
was
what caught my attention.
Okay.
this is going to be a little vague, but I think it was Elisha, and he had met with the meeting of the prophets, and all these prophets were there, and they were really hungry, and they were going to eat some soup, but it turned out that it was a little bit poisonous, and I forget what he did. You know how he would say, throw a stick in the...
A little bit poisonous?
I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah, like a little bit pregnant.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Well, anyway, he did something. You know how he threw the stick in there and the axe head float up, and he said, "Well, go and
cut
get
up
something,
a gourd or something,
and put in there." But then it was enough to feed everyone, all of the prophets who were pretty hungry. I think
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I think they'd been out cutting some sticks previous to build a little school for them or a little shelter. Am I in the ballpark, Iris?
Well, you got the Elisha part correct, and it is indicated in that part that you're talking about there in 2 Kings chapter 4 that there was the poisonous soup, and it put meal in it, by the way.
Meal.
Does
it say a little bit poisonous? Because I think the message says a little bit poisonous.
I think he said there was death in the pot.
Death
is the
in
way
the
I
pot.
understood
right.
it.
You're not going to get that second guy to try it. After watching that first guy keel over. No, I think I'll pass. Give me the potatoes.
Yeah. Iris, again, thank you for reading the word. Faith cometh by hearing, hearing by the word of God. Thank you so much for listening to AFR. Have a great weekend.
Somebody want to come pick Joe up?
One of those other prophets. I'm just going down to the Dollar General and get a bag of chips or something.
Back to the phone.
All right, we're going to stay in Arkansas.
Okay, let's do that.
Cookie is on the line. Cookie, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hey, saving me on.
Hey, thank you, Cookie, for calling. Where do you live in Arkansas?
I live in El Dorado, Arkansas. It's in the center of the state, about 15 miles from Louisiana line.
Good area.
Yes, absolutely. Been there. I've been there.
I have too.
Well, Cookie, thanks for calling. Do you want to ask, answer, or both?
I want to do both, please.
Okay. Which one do you want to answer?
I want to answer the one about the blob.
Oh, okay, good. All right, here's the question, Cookie. What famous actor made his lead actor debut in the 1958 science fiction film classic The Blob?
I think it was Steve McQueen.
It was.
Wow.
Steve McQueen.
McQueen?
I don't know how good the acting was, but you got to give those writers 2 thumbs up for coming up with a great title. It took a lot of thought, a lot of creativity right there.
What do we call this? What do we call this film?
Steve McQueen. Wow.
Wow.
He became a legendary Hollywood actor in movies.
Yeah. Bullet. Riding around in that Mustang.
Also, the Magnificent Seven. He was an amazing actor. But anyway, that's correct.
I love the musicals that he was in. When you can prance around and sing and act all at the same time, that's pretty
impressive.
Wipe a tear out.
He became a Christian at the end of his life.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. All right, Cookie, ask your question for us.
I sure hope. Yes. Okay. There is an American ship still in commission, and it is in the North Koreans have it, and they use it as a museum to show people, what they did to the Americans, that they took American ship. And do you know the name of that ship?
An American ship that the North Koreans have possession of?
Yes, it's still in commission. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's news to me. Ed, you're a little bit more when it comes to battles and.
I'm not familiar with this.
Well, that's sad to hear, Cookie. Yeah, what's the answer?
Well, it's the Pueblo, and I think it's in 1968.
Are you sure you're not talking about North Vietnam? You sure you're not talking about?
Yes. I mean, no, I'm sorry, Korea. I'm so sorry.
No,
it was North Korea. And they said they got too close to their waters, and they came and got the ship and took the people, and they finally let all the hostages go. But
I'm better with
anyway, they still have our ship.
Hey, Cookie.
Uh-huh.
Did you mean to say North Korea or North Vietnam?
I'm sorry. I meant to say North Korea. I don't know if that's...
That's what you said. No, that's what you said originally.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you were correct.
Yeah.
Wow. And that is a true story. Okay.
Yes. And my husband was in the Air Force at that time, and they called him one day, and he had to leave the next day, going to South Korea, getting prepared in case there was a war.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Wow.
Well,
I did not know that. Didn't have any idea.
No, that's something. Hey, Cookie, thank you for listening to AFR. Have a great weekend.
Hey, Cookie? Cookie, you there? Say hello to Doe for us, if you would.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Cookie.
All right. We'll continue.
It's pretty lame, but that was a pretty lame joke I pulled on Cookie there.
What'd you say?
You weren't paying attention?
No, I wasn't.
I told her to say hello to Doe for us.
Cookie dough.
See what I did there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll just
agree that it's lame?
No, I don't. Now that I was listening, I was looking up about the Pueblo.
Was that true?
Yeah, it is. For some reason I thought the Pueblo was involved in getting us into the Vietnam War, but I'm going to look this up a little bit more. It might, but it is North Korea that has it, and it's the only ship of the U.S. Navy still on the commissioned roster and held captive. So I want to double check. I'm apparently was confused.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing better than me. I thought when you said Pueblo, it was a Mexican restaurant, so it had me thrown off in every different direction.
Well, it is, JJ. Think you are. All right.
And I will say this, that when the joke you said about say hello to Doe.
Yeah.
Since I moved down to the South, I am never surprised at what people's nicknames wind up being. Because Doe, it is absolutely possible that somebody would have a nickname.
Sister named Doe.
Yeah.
Cookie named sister. What's sister's name? Doe.
When we had twins on the way, and I've Melanie, and then we've got 5 daughters, and they've said, don't ever tell anybody your baby name. Somebody at church will take it a month before your baby is born or whatever. So they said, hey, that's cardinal rule. Don't do that. So the first thing everybody wanted to know, the listeners, when we had twins on the way, well, what are you going to name them? So I said, well, I'm trying to keep things modern and relevant. I said, since it's twins, we're naming them Copy and Paste. Well, a lot of people thought, that's horrible. And others thought, okay, that's pretty clever. Nurses at the hospital got his 2 little onesies or whatever you call them, newborn things, and had on there Copy and Paste.
Oh, they had heard it, or somebody
yes, they had listeners, and they had them printed. And how sweet and how fun was that?
That is sweet, and you keep those.
They're probably somewhere.
Yeah,
and the Hogg twins in Texas many decades ago.
Here we go.
The Hogg twins.
Yeah,
right.
They were sisters. This is true. They were sisters. Hoggg was their last name, and their parents named them Ima and Yura.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did. Look it up.
Oh, my goodness.
Ima and Yura Hogg.
Hogg.
I don't know where they were. They were from twin sisters from Texas.
Poor kids. Terrible parents.
We're going to take a time out. We're doing this a little early, and then we'll come back and get back to the phone calls. Kansas, Illinois, Kansas, Texas, North Carolina, and all over. We'll be back momentarily.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildman.
In a football game once, a guard had an opportunity to intercept a pass on a very crucial play. The guard tried as hard as he could to hang on to that ball, but he dropped it. It was a movement he was unfamiliar with. A fellow teammate, a defensive back who was familiar with pass intercepting, became very angry at the guard. He even went to the sideline and asked the coach to take the guard from the game, but the coach refused. A few plays later, that same person fumbled the ball while attempting to score the winning touchdown. He looked at the guard with whom he had become very upset only a few plays earlier. The guard looked at him, but said nothing. He had a look of understanding on his face. Well, the backfield man came over to the sidelines and sat down on the bench. He hung his head in shame. The coach came over, put his hand on his shoulder, and said, "We all make mistakes, son. Now get back in there and do the best you can." You know, before you throw a stone, take a look at yourself. None of us are without our faults and flaws, and we have no right to throw a stone unless we are perfect. Too many times we can see the error of another while overlooking our own. It takes no special skill to see the good points we possess and the bad which another has. Usually it only takes a little human nature at work. Sometimes those who are the quickest to find fault know the least about redeeming love. We may not have all sinned alike, but we all alike have sinned. When you look at yourself first, really look at yourself, you find it hard to throw a stone at someone else. The longer one follows this carpenter from Galilee, and the more he loves him, the slower he is to point an accusing and condemning finger. Too many of us require standards in others which we ourselves never try to reach. You know, the person who made a mistake doesn't need condemnation. He needs forgiveness and understanding and another chance. We're told in the book of books that he who loved us did not come into the world to condemn us, but to redeem us. I'm afraid that many times our message has been too much condemnation and too little redemption. I recall a parable the carpenter told about two men who went up to the temple to pray. You remember it. One prayed about how good he was, while the other sincerely begged for forgiveness. If I'm not mistaken, it was the man who thought he was so good who was rejected, and the man who begged for forgiveness who was accepted. The important thing to remember is this: our Maker loves us even if we aren't perfect. If he loved only those who were perfect, I'm afraid he would not have anyone to love. Men may scorn us and condemn us when we make a mistake, but the carpenter loves us and can still use us. Don't make it a habit in your lifetime to throw stones. You don't make yourself any bigger by making another a little smaller. Give a little help, for the time will come when you will need all the help you can get.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildman, a production of the American Family Association.
For we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. 2 Corinthians 5:1.
American Family Radio.
All right.
Well, you got to. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rod Serling,
Yeah, I guess.
is he going to talk there or no?
Sometimes it doesn't come on.
Okay.
It's just the music.
All right. Anyway, that's the theme from
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Was that that was 60s?
Yeah, it was black and white.
Yeah. Maybe it's late 50s. I don't know.
I'm glad we got to hear a little sliver of bongo drums. That was pretty groovy. pretty good
groovy.
for have a beatnik kind of show up there. There's not enough bongo. There's not enough cowbell in music, and there's not enough bongos in music.
Bongos. Just the name of it is funny. Bongo drum.
Dobie Gillis. You can picture him and the other beatniks.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, have you ever tried playing? I'm very non-musically gifted.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
am not musically gifted. Let me put it that way. It's true. But
I rate that as true.
you
asking us to
is that
comment?
true or false? I rate that as a true statement.
Man, you don't ever want to come in here with a little bit of a limp or just some little raveling because this is a
sure
tough,
don't want to be bleeding anywhere. Because the sharks will circle.
Tough crowd.
But what I was gonna say is that you'd think bongo drums are pretty simple enough that even if you're not really musical,
right,
you can play it. Not so.
You can start to get tripped up.
Yeah,
get ahead of yourself or get a little behind.
Yeah.
All right, let's repeat our questions quickly. Let's
all
make
right.
it quick.
What famous product did John Pemberton create? Second question, who is the NBA player with the most consecutive games hitting at least one 3-point shot? And how many games long was that streak? I will take a pretty close answer. And that comes from our very own Dr. Robert Youngblood here at AFR. And then pretty easy question. We may have had it. I'm sure we've had it before. On the Andy Griffith Show, what other office did Andy hold besides sheriff? That's what I've got.
Here's what I've got. First question, which is the only planet in our solar system to rotate clockwise Now, they would have more information on that, but the thing they sent up there fell over on its side and was not able to take enough pictures. And that happens.
Yeah.
Look, when you put $3 trillion into something, it's going to not always work.
Yeah.
Second question, true or false? NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made more than 11,000 points, but only one three-pointer. Is that true or false? Shaq had 11,000 points in his career, but only one three-pointer.
You're talking about from the three-point line.
Yes.
Not the old-fashioned three-point.
That's right, not getting fouled right after you're making a shot. Thank you for clarifying that. Then third question, add a new one. Name the former, I'm really giving you a lot of hints here. Name the former St. Louis Cardinals player who is the only Major League Baseball player to ever hit 2 grand slams in a single inning.
A single inning?
Can you imagine? Yeah, that's not true or false. That happened.
Yeah,
Name
I remember that.
Name the former St. Louis Cardinals player who's the only Major League player to ever hit 2 grand slams in a single inning. We say a lot of things about Don Wildman, his passing right before the first of the year. Brother Don used to take Tim and the kids to St. Louis to watch the Cardinals play.
Yeah.
So you very well could have been at that game. As many
I wasn't at that
games.
game, but I do remember when that happened, and I'm trying to remember I know that I visualize the player, but I'm trying to remember his name.
Well, I wasn't going to get the team, but I thought that's going to be kind of hard to guess. I said, hey, well, let's narrow it down. Then some Cardinals fans were like, how do you forget something like that? 2 grand slams in one inning.
All right, so here's my questions. In the 1970s sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter, what was John Travolta's character's name? His full name?
I got it now. I remember.
Oh, Mr. Kotter.
That was his buddy, right?
Yeah.
That was his buddy. Number 2, the the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur. You had me.
I wormed my way into your head.
You did, man.
Wormed my way into your head. Rent-free.
Rent-free.
The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur. Wilbur. They invented flight, right?
Yes.
So
human flight.
There
were birds doing it before them, but I get your.
I walked right into that one.
Oh my word!
Oh man, you got me back. Good. So anyway, I want to know the decade that they invented human flight. The Wright brothers, and you want to read a fascinating story.
Yeah.
Read about their life and how they did this.
Will you guys give me just a couple of minutes, quick devo? So their dad was a pastor, and they were bicycle makers. Now, all of you Christian parents, pastors, we know this happened because you know the nature of it. The dad is praying over his children. Lord, please use them to glorify you. Use my boys to make their mark and to give you honor and glory, like every parent, and especially a pastor. How many times the dad prayed over those kids, Lord, I just really hope you use them to make a difference. And those bicycle makers, look what they did.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
That is a
from
great,
Ohio
great message.
But of course, it happened at Kitty Hawk in the Carolinas, and so you trace that back to faith and God-fearing people and reading the Bible, and then look what the Lord can do with your children and your grandchildren.
Amen.
They had 6 siblings that felt like failures because they did things that. But they probably made their contributions.
Oh, yeah. They actually had a sister, and they credit her with being the inspiration behind a whole lot of their success.
They put her on the first bicycle when they tried their theories of flight by pushing her down a hill.
Which tree has beautiful white bark that peels naturally? That's my third question. All right, let's go back to the phone.
All right, let's go to Kansas. You mentioned that before the break. Tim, Annie is on the line. Annie, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hey, thanks. It's the first time I got in.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Annie. Where do you live in Kansas?
I live in Marysville, Kansas. We're 11 miles south of the Nebraska line.
I spoke there once, little tiny Marysville. Everybody was so nice. It was the high school auditorium is right across the corner was the church there, and the place was packed. It was just an incredible night of laughter and lifting up the Lord. You didn't happen to be there, did you, Annie?
There No, unfortunately, I wasn't.
It's about 15 years or so ago, maybe 20, but everybody was
Well, Andy,
super
you
nice.
need to have
I
JJ
was
back.
here. There you go. Thinking about it.
Andy, you want to
Oh.
answer or do both, dear?
Do both.
Which one do you want to answer?
About the bark on the tree.
Okay, yes. Annie, here's the question. Which tree has beautiful white bark that peels naturally?
It's a paper birch.
The birch.
Nicely
Yeah,
done.
the birch. Aren't there different types of birches, Annie?
Yes.
But the
That's one of them.
Is the
Don't
paper
ask me for any more.
Well,
I can't tell you.
is the paper birch though? Is that the same thing as a river birch?
That's what I was thinking, river birch that peels like that.
I know the river birch peels. Yeah,
And those
naturally,
smaller type of bark.
the other ones, they attack them and rip the bark off of them. You hear them screaming in
Oh,
the
that's
night.
terrible.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
terrible. But these, they just naturally do it, and they're just relaxed.
Well,
Right.
oddly
The bark
enough,
comes
those
off.
trees will bite, and a lot of people will say their bark is actually worse than their bite.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that.
grew up in New England. We
Yeah.
had a bunch of birch trees in the woods behind our house, and
you remember
they're
this?
beautiful. Yeah.
They're beautiful.
They are
And
beautiful.
usually they're grown in a cluster. We have.
Did you just call
3
them
in our front
birches?
yard.
Just call them birch
Yeah.
trees.
Okay.
There was probably some special name.
I don't know. I've always heard river birch, but what'd you call them, Annie?
Paper birch.
Paper birch.
Paper.
Okay.
Paper birch.
Paper birch. Okay.
Just
All
kind
right.
of peels off like paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naturally. Okay. So, what's your question for us, Annie?
Okay. How many times is the word amen appears in the Bible? How many times? Exactly. How many times does the word amen appear in the Bible?
Oh, exactly.
Exactly. How many
Yes,
times?
exactly.
Exactly. So no time for counting. Here. I think we're gonna.
Okay, let's start in the book of Genesis. You guys ready?
We're
With
ready.
me?
Yes.
Annie.
Annie, we don't know. I don't
I'm
even
gonna,
think
I'm
we
gonna
get-
say it's in the 400s. I'm just gonna give you a general guess. No
Well,
way I could have it.
I mean, we got to take a guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say 641.
Okay.
I'll do like Price is Right, 642. I guess right at 100. So we're
One above me. What
So
about you, Ed?
641, 642.
What do you?
yeah.
All right,
what-
then I'm gonna say 422.
422.
All right.
Okay, hold on to your seats. It's
Okay.
773,692
Wow.
times.
I believe it. A lot of
No, no,
words.
no,
in
no,
the
no,
Bible.
no. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Amen, right? Amen.
No, not
Amen.
hold on a second.
Albeit.
All right, y'all tell me when I can.
You go ahead.
I'm gonna break this thing down.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to insult you, Annie. Okay, please understand. You said how many? You asked a question. How many amens are in the Bible? And you said what was your answer?
Appears
Okay. What's the answer?
773,692.
And Annie, that's almost 12,000 times in each book.
That would be every other word in the Bible would be amen.
You sure it's not like 707 or 7,000 or I mean
Well, this came from the evangelist.
No, well, you need to
David
change.
Jeremiah.
Listen, Annie, you need to change churches. Okay.
No.
Because
no.
whoever, what pastor, your associate pastor, somebody's pulling one on you right there on that one. I'm only kidding. Okay, Ed, what's the answer?
I don't know, but
We'll
if
check-
it's
we'll check on it.
773,000, that's almost 12,000 in each book. 66 books in the Bible.
Yeah, which is going to be a little tough on Jude.
Yes.
Where'd you get that answer, Annie?
Well, that was according to Brother David Jeremiah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Hey, listen, Annie, thank you for listening to AFR, and you have a wonderful weekend. We're glad you were able to make it in. First-time callers right here on Trivia
and
Friday.
Andy, we are going to check that, and if you're right, we will.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
We'll
No,
certainly.
Well, she's got it. She's putting it off on David Jeremiah. And
Hey, Andy, thanks for being
Thanks,
a good
Annie.
sport.
Yes,
You have a
that's
good
right.
weekend.
I may have his cell phone. and we'll just find out real quick.
You going to call him right now?
I do have it.
Call him and put him on the air.
I'll send him a message. During the break. All right, let's go.
All right, we go to Texas, and Franklin is on the line. Franklin, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hello, sir. How you doing today?
We're doing great, Franklin. We're here, brother. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, sir. And I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Yes.
You ever been there,
the
JJ?
big country.
I have been there. I lived there one winter. Loved it.
All right, Franklin.
Yeah.
You want to ask, answer, or do both,
sir.
brother?
Well, I want to do both, but Sweet Iris from Arkansas stole my question because I had that one down. You know.
Which one? Which one?
But I want to do the famous product that was invented by Pemberton.
Okay, here's the question for those just tuning in. Franklin, what famous product did John Pemberton create?
Dr. Pepper.
No.
Really?
You are correct that it's in the soft drink category, but I can't give you credit for Dr. Pepper. So
good try, though.
Your information. No, your information's messed up. That's the one he invented.
Well, I'm going by the show, The Foods That Made America.
Well, according to David Jeremiah, too.
Yeah, there you go. Can't argue with David
No,
Jeremiah.
I argue with David Jeremiah.
Hey, Franklin, what's your question for us?
Okay. Oh, what's you know what? I forgot it.
That's okay. Hey, Franklin, and you mentioned Dr. Pepper. That was actually invented in Waco, Texas, and by a different person. And initially they called it a Waco. Give me a Waco, and they changed the name to Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
But you're in the ballpark. Hey, listen, thanks for listening to AFR. Have a great weekend.
And just for our listeners, I did look it up again, and it says Dr. John S. Pemberton invented the drink that I'm talking about.
Right.
And it's not Dr. Pepper.
But he couldn't have invented both, right?
No, he died.
No, the other guy that I was talking about invented Dr. Pepper in Waco, Texas. I forget his name, but it was
wasn't Pemberton.
It's Bubba is what they most of his close friends called him.
Close friends.
I don't think Bubba's ever invented anything.
but he has said a lot of times,
Here,
hey, watch this.
Hey, watch this.
All right.
Hold my Dr. Pepper. Hey, y'all, watch this.
I shouldn't have said that.
What?
You know, that's insulting to Bubba's right there, that somebody named Bubba couldn't invent anything.
Oh, and here's the other thing about insulting guys named Bubba, Tim.
Right.
They're often pretty big, pretty big fellas.
All right, you're listening to Trivia Friday on American Family Radio, also known as
Learning University.
Back to the phones, Ed.
All right, we go to North Carolina, and Jason is on the line. Jason, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, what part of North Carolina? Where do you live in North Carolina, Jason?
Windsor, North Carolina.
If I'm looking at the map, where's that?
We are about an hour and a half from the East Coast, from Kitty Hawk, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. All right. Have you ever been over to Kitty Hawk?
I have.
Okay, and so did they have like a memorial or a place where they honor the Wright brothers?
Oh, yeah, they got a whole museum dedicated to them.
Okay, awesome.
And a big old
I'd like to see
monument.
that. I need to go over there. All right, Jason, ask or answer or both?
I'm going to do both.
Which one do you want to answer?
I'm going to answer one about the Wright brothers.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, the question is, the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, who are credited with inventing human flight, obviously Americans. They were from Ohio. They grew up in Dayton. What decade was it, Jason, that the Wright brothers came up with the airplane?
It'll be 1900s, December 17th, 1903.
Yes,
Wow,
sir.
yes,
sir.
that's right.
19. Did you just know that? Did you look it up or what?
I'll be honest with you, I looked it up to get the exact date, but I was pretty sure it was in 1900.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, 1900s, December 17th, 1903. 4 miles south of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, according to this information.
Mm-hmm. I think it's called Kill Devil Hills or something.
You got it,
like
JJ.
that.
Oh, wow. Good.
So, anyway, way to go, Jason. You got it. That's a remarkable top 10 American story, which had worldwide implications. Going
milestone in human
history
events.
Well, I'm an aviator, and back 20 years ago, when it was the 100th anniversary, you just had to be in awe and think, wait, 100 years? You mean we went from the airplane to astronauts, the airplane to just flying on 747s in only 100 years?
66 years they landed on the moon.
Maybe not. But I lived with my grandmother who was born in the 1800s, and then it would dawn on me, oh, wait, and I said something about, horse and buggy. Oh, yeah, we'd hook up the team of horses like right out of Little House on the Prairie. And occasionally at the breakfast table, I'd think of new things. I said, Grandma, do you remember the very first airplane you saw? She said, well, yeah, everybody in our town did. We heard the awfulest commotion, and you think of, well, isn't that something, the first time you saw an airplane? But if it happened in 1903 and there you were, a young person when one finally came over your town. So, yeah, remarkable, Jason. That's pretty cool that you're that close to history.
Yes, sir.
What's your question for us?
Okay. In the Lord of the Rings movie, feature film, Two Towers, it has a extra scene that's added in the special features. I'm asking, what is the age of Viggo Mortensen's character Aragorn, who is known as one of the Dunedain, blessed with long life? What is his age during the Lord of the Rings movies?
You understood every word he said.
I did.
Ed's tracking with you.
Ed knows.
I'm tracking with
he
you.
He thinks in Hobbit. Hobbitese.
I said I dream in Hobbit.
Tim, I had everything he said. I didn't understand not one word of that. So I'm with you. You and I can just smile.
You got to be into that. I watched the movies,
Ed.
but I don't know that much. Go ahead,
Jason. It's just a guess. I'm probably way off, but I think he was 300.
No, 87 years old.
87 years old.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I got to tell you, your tone was completely unacceptable. I mean, no, listen, I understand. I think I'm remembering from the actual books, Jason, that I read, that the Dunedain did live to 200-300 years old. But you probably
300 years. That's where you got the 300 years.
Yeah, they lived long.
And Jason,
prospered.
Don't shame Tim and I, because look, if you want to come back with another question about football or bacon. We'll be ready for you, buddy.
Bacon. So, Jason, you're a big fan of the Lord of the Rings movies?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, so let me ask you. This is boring already to Tim and
no, it's okay,
JJ. But what did you think of the 3 Hobbit movies they made? Did you think they were on the same level as the Lord of the Rings?
No, they were not on the same level.
What did you think, Ed?
To me, Two Towers and Return of the King were the best two. I'd say that the last Hobbit movie was probably on the level with Fellowship of the Ring, but
I'm just going to say this one thing, Jason, so you'll understand it. Every once in a while, when the news of the day that we cover here at AFA and AFR kind of gets me down a little bit, at lunchtime I'll go to my office and shut the door and watch the Ride of the Rohirrim as they broke the lines of the orcs.
When I get in that mood, I watch the election results from 2016.
These are
the
parallels.
night that Trump beat Hillary.
Hey, Jason.
That'll live in infamy.
Yes, it will.
Hey, and Jason, a little behind the scenes, just for you and our other listeners. Ed, when those movies first came out, he dressed up like those people.
No,
he was there in the lobby, and he was dressed up with all those
Thank you,
things that
Jason.
they have on.
Appreciate it, brother.
Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
However, if I'd had the money to buy the outfits, I might.
Hey, by the way, real quick, Allison and I went to the movie last night, and I rarely recommend movies, but Ordinary Angels, we saw that last night.
It's local?
It's all over the country.
But, I mean, it's playing locally.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think I drive to Nashville to a movie?
Okay. No,
I saw that coming too.
All right.
Ed. I was
did.
surprised you stepped right at that.
I did. I walked right into it.
Okay, can I get back to
Yeah,
the-
go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead, Tim.
Anyway, the movie's called Ordinary Angels, and it's with Hilary Swank, the actress.
Yes. Very good.
Anyway, it's no language, no bad language. The moral, it's based on a true story from out of Louisville, Kentucky, from the 90s. It's an outstanding movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's called Ordinary Angels. Nobody paid me to say that.
Right.
The Irwin brothers are involved in that somewhere or another, if you remember the Irwin brothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, back to the phones, Ed.
All right. Okay. I
He's
can't
trying to
believe
shake-
I
he's
can't
trying
believe
to
I
Just so
Shake
people
it
know,
off.
listen, Ed and I and JJ, we can give it and dish it and take it, and we're still friends when we leave here.
We've known each other for 35
yeah.
years. Or
Yeah,
something.
so hurling insults at one another.
It's just part. We insult each other just passing each other in the hallway.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it
It's a
really
gift
is.
that we all have.
It's our spiritual gift.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
But I mean, when you asked me to
No, I'm sorry.
go see,
You know,
I went to see. I said my wife and I went to see a movie last night, and you go locally.
We drove to New Orleans.
It was stupid. Here's the thing. When you said that, I thought, because I thought my daughter's grown, but we still do father-daughter stuff.
Yeah.
I started thinking, I think maybe I'll take Lindsay to go see that.
Yeah.
And then I saw, and my first thought was, yeah, but is it playing locally? So I did. I
see where you're going with that.
So I asked,
yeah.
but then after it came
is
out
playing
and you
locally.
looked at me, I thought, oh boy, that was stupid,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
But now to Ed's point, we've all done these kinds of things. Your family's gathered. You're about to go get on a flight. They say, have a nice flight. You say, you too.
Yeah.
Because you're just so used to just saying something. Then as soon as it's coming out of your mouth, wait, this doesn't fit. And I don't know why. My brain just auto-corrected.
Well, thank you, JJ, for trying to help
back to the phone.
Normalize me. All right. We go back to North Carolina, and Kelly is on the line. Kelly, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hey, thank you.
Are you on a submarine?
And is it yellow?
What was that noise?
No.
Pulling up to the
You hear me?
depot.
I said,
No, I'm in a tractor and trailer truck.
Oh,
Okay, good.
All right. All right.
We appreciate you truckers.
Yes, sir. We do. Do you want to ask, answer, or do both?
All right. I want to do both if I can.
You can. We may have to hold you over through the 5-minute
right.
break, but if you're up for that, let's go. What question you want to answer?
All right, let's do it. I want to do the one about Andy.
All right.
Here we go.
Andy Griffith.
Here's the question on the Andy Griffith Show. What other office did Andy hold besides sheriff, Kelly?
He was the justice of peace.
Justice of
Nicely
peace.
done. Way to go, Kelly.
At the same time?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows.
So sometimes when someone would demand a trial, Andy, if he was the arresting officer, he'd say, okay. And he'd sit behind his desk and turn the sign around. He was justice of the peace.
Right. Turn his little sign around exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's one of the best shows on television.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite.
That's right.
What's your question for us, Kelly?
All right, now there's another one. Adam 12. What were the two police officers' names on Adam 12?
All right, there was Officer Malloy was one of them, right?
Yep.
That's right, Pete. There you go.
And I can't remember the other guy's name.
Help us out, Kelly. What's the answer?
Partner. Jim Reed.
Reed?
Jim Reed.
Jim Reed.
Yep.
I love that show. I would watch it.
12.
I did too.
I love that.
Are those ones just
Adam
the
12,
facts,
yep.
ma'am?
No, that's
that's
Sergeant Friday.
Is that a
Dragnet.
12 card number or something? Or,
No, that's car 54. Where are you?
Is
man,
Ed-
I'm
is Ed
freaking out
12?
over here.
As Ed says, you're about to embarrass yourself.
Well, I
JJ.
feel like Shaq trying to hit a three-pointer over here.
All right, we'll be back.
Hey, thank you, Kelly.
Thanks,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Appreciate it. We'll be back. Talk to Jacob in JJ's home state of Kentucky when we get back. More calls coming up. We got another half an hour of Trivia Friday. Stay with us.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
All God asks of you is faithfulness. Headlines in USA Today. Did you see it this morning? All the odds are against us. Faithfulness is the word.
There's a place for you on the battle line. Engage in the fight for America's families. Visit AFA.net and then take your position. A message from the American Family Association.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Wildfires in the Texas Panhandle continue to grow. The Smokehouse Creek Fire, one of several fires, is now the largest in the state's history. Texas Division of Emergency Management Chief Nim Kidd warns the state's residents to stay alert.
Friday and into the weekend, you're going to start seeing some adverse weather conditions come back to us. I don't want the community there to feel a false sense of security that all of these fires will not grow anymore. This is still a very dynamic situation.
Hutchinson County Public Emergency Coordinator Deidre Thomas says residents are starting to realize the severity of the fires.
We're pretty much in shock for the most part, and the shock is starting to wear off, and reality is starting to set in.
The fires have burned more than 1 million acres in Texas and Oklahoma and killed at least 2 people. Former President Trump visiting the border in Eagle Pass, Texas Thursday as President Biden meets with Border Patrol in Brownsville. In an exclusive interview with Fox's Hannity, the former president says the number of migrants entering the U.S. illegally is worse than it was before his first term in office.
It's the worst border ever in the history of the world. There's never been a border where 15, 16, maybe 18 million people have already crossed. You know, as a business guy, you always want to understand the other side. I want to understand, what is the other side thinking, even if you disagree. I don't know what they're thinking, because who can want this? Who can want millions of people from lots of bad places pouring into our country?
President Biden continuing to face criticism for his handling of the U.S. southern border as the number of illegal crossings continues to increase. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick believes the president and Democrats are refusing to actually secure the border, and it's time for Americans to start choosing a side.
You're either for a secure border and for this country, or you're not. Forget your labels of being an independent or Democrat or a moderate Republican. If Donald Trump does not win in November, and I believe he's going to handily, but if he does not, this country will be lost.
The White House press secretary was asked this week if President Biden had reached out to the family of Laken Riley, the Georgia nursing student who was murdered by an illegal alien.
I do want to extend our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of Laken Hope Riley. Given this is an active case, I'm going to be really careful about speaking to that case more specifically. Would have to refer anything specific to that case to law enforcement and obviously ICE. And the president, I don't have anything regarding to the president speaking to the family.
Georgia State Representative Houston Gaines calls that disgraceful.
To see what has happened in this White House, our southern border is a disaster. And you know, first and foremost, our prayers and thoughts in the Athens community with Laken Riley's family, her friends, the University of Georgia community. What happened last week was just an awful tragedy. And I'm sick to my stomach knowing that it could have been avoided had we had the right policies in place at the federal level, if the federal government did its job and closed the border.
Meanwhile, an immigration enforcement organization says the mayor of New York apparently has realized that we have reached a point where it is just unsustainable to continue Joe Biden's wide-open border policy. Chad Groening has more.
The New York mayor seems to have had a complete change of heart when it comes to the Big Apple's designation as a sanctuary city. After a series of highly publicized crimes committed by illegal aliens, Eric Adams is pushing for a modification of the laws when it comes to that status.
We need to modify the sanctuary city law that if you commit a felony, a violent act, we should be able to turn you over to ICE and have you deported. It is a right to live in this city.
Ira Melman is media director for the Federation for American Immigration Reform.
He has been mayor of New York now for more than 2 years. In that time, there's been an influx of illegal aliens. We have seen crime committed by gangs that have taken root in the city. He's had plenty of opportunity to act just like President Biden has had plenty of opportunity. I guess things have gotten to a point where it's just unsustainable.
But Melman says saying a few words isn't going to solve the problem.
It's going to have to be backed up with firm action and with pressure from local leaders like Mayor Adams on the White House to stop doing what they're doing.
I'm Chad Groening.
U.S. futures are down slightly and oil prices are up. More news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty P.
Thoughts of the child you were carrying keep pouring over in your mind. A deep, unrelenting sadness overshadows your days, and you wonder if you will ever feel whole again. There is hope and healing from a reproductive loss. Call the International Helpline, 866-482-LIFE, and talk with someone who has been where you are. Your call is confidential, and we will help you find healing. 866-482-LIFE.
This weekend on The Stand Radio, we'll tell you what you need to know about the Super Tuesday primaries in 16 states. Then, remembering Don Wildman. Rebecca Davis and Rusty Benson share their thoughts.
Brother Don was just very staunch in his beliefs, and he was not backing down.
He was a clear thinker. The Stand Radio, Saturdays at 4 and Sundays at 8 p.m. Central on American Family Radio.
This is Trivia Friday. The number to call with your question or your answer to a question is 888-589-8840. Now, back to more Trivia Friday.
All right, first-time callers only today on American Family Radio's Trivia Friday show. We also call this
Learning University.
Learning University's on the air. JJ?
Where
did you have
traveling?
something?
Oh, thank you. Next weekend, I'm going to be at Wade Baptist Church in Moss Point, Mississippi. Moss Point, Pascagoula, up near there. Wild game supper on Saturday night. Preaching both Sunday morning services. So a little bit out of my lane, but that's next weekend.
Oh, you're a wonderful Bible teacher.
Y'all going to play some wild games?
Wild games on Saturday night.
I don't know if that's appropriate.
Door prizes. And also March the 21st, Hillcrest Baptist Church in New Albany for First Choice Center for Women.
New Albany, Mississippi.
March the 23rd, Mason City, Iowa, and then other places, Texas, Alabama, Arkansas.
So where can folks go to find out your schedule, your calendar, if they're in the area they can attend, or if they want to invite you to come?
Thank you. JJJasper.com.
JJJasper.com. You come for gas money, right?
These days, grocery money. I just say we'll come for food.
I'm just kidding.
No, he
just kidding.
does have an honorarium.
Yeah, an honorarium. And all right, back to the phones. Jacob in Kentucky. All right, Jacob, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
All right, my friend. Where do you call it from in the Bluegrass State?
I'm calling from Hickory, Kentucky this time.
Where's Hickory, Jacob?
It's far west Kentucky.
Like near where? Paducah?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jacob, thanks for calling. Ask, answer, or both?
Well, somebody took the question I wanted, so I think I'll ask a question.
All right.
Okay.
That's sad that happened. But I just, I feel bad.
Well, hey, you know what? We haven't reset our questions.
Oh, Jacob, if you'll just pay attention and listen to the questions we're going to ask, and if you can answer one when we get through asking them, you do so. If not, we'll just go straight to your call. Go ahead. Your question. Go ahead, Ed.
So, Jacob, what famous product did John Pemberton create? Someone has already guessed Dr. Pepper. That was incorrect.
And he argued with us.
he did. That's all right. We're still friends.
That's right.
He and I. And the second question I have, who is the NBA player with the most consecutive games hitting at least one three-point shot? And how many games long was that streak? And that second part, you can be pretty much in the ballpark. But anyway, that's what I've got left.
Here's what I've got. First question, which is the only planet in our solar system to rotate clockwise? Second question, true or false? NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made more than 11,000 points in his career, but he only shot one three-pointer, only one time from the three-point line. Is that true or false? Third question, name the former St. Louis Cardinals player who's the only Major League Baseball player to ever hit 2 grand slams in a single inning.
You know, the chances of that happening is like probably 1 in a million.
Oh, when the bases were loaded and he got up there the second time, everybody and their brother watching on TV and in the stands said, well, there's no possible way in the world this can happen.
Just think of all the games that have been played over the decades in Major League Baseball, and that's the only time.
He's the only one that ever had that happen.
All right, here's Jacob, here's my question. In the 1970s hit sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter, what was John Travolta's character's full name? So those are the questions we have. Can you answer any of them?
I think I can answer the true or false question.
All right.
There you go. You got
50-50.
a 50-50 chance. Is that going to be mine, or do you have one as
No,
well?
that's yours.
All right, here's the question again. It's about Shaq, NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal. He shot 11,000 points in his career, but only one three-pointer. Is that true or false?
That's got to be false.
It is 100% true.
Wow.
And I told that
out of 11,000 points.
Listen, I told that to my family. I said I was excited about some of these questions, and my son-in-laws are real big athletes. And Harrison, he said, one of my son-in-laws, he said, "But how many times did he try?" And I said, you know, you got a point there. He said, if he shot missed, 20 or 30 times, and then his coach said, Shaq, you got to cut this out.
Yeah.
This it's just not working for you. In fact, I'm going to forbid you from taking another three because now 30 attempts and not one has gone in. And so, you know how these young people are. My son-in-law just looked down, his thumbs went to town. He said 22 times.
Is all he shot?
He shot 22 times and only hit one. So I bet they had that conversation. His coach said, man, you're great in the paint under the basket, but quit taking those 3-point shots.
Well, and that makes the 11,000 points he did score even more amazing because it's just two points or foul shots from the line.
Yeah, but isn't that something? Only one 3-pointer from the line.
Wow. Well, great job. Jacob, what's your question for us?
A good try.
It was true false.
What did you guys think it was? True or false?
I thought it was false. I'm with Jacob.
All right, Jacob, go ahead. Fire away. What's your question?
This isn't a trivia question. I'm just curious about something. Where can I find you guys on the internet? I found today's issues, but I can't find the other shows.
You talking about? Go ahead, Ed.
You talking about for podcasts, Jacob? For past shows?
No, live.
Oh, live on
the radio network?
Yes, AFR.
Okay, how are you listening right now?
I found you guys on YouTube, but you guys have been banned several times. And,
yes, that's true.
But I don't know if
you don't want to get us started on that, ivermectin. Okay.
Yeah.
Ivermectin trail.
Okay.
Hey, you can get our free app. Go where you get your apps.
Yeah.
You can download our free AFR app.
Yeah, American Family Radio app. You download that and you listen to us 24/7, man. 24/7.
All right.
I would sleep some, but especially if you're gonna be driving and stuff.
Now,
like that.
if you do want to watch, if you do want to listen to the live video stream on your computer, you can go to AFR.net and.
What if you have a smart TV?
I think you can cast
in Kentucky.
Yes. Hey, easy, boys.
I think you can cast.
That was uncalled for.
From your phone to your television. I don't know. I don't use a smart TV.
Well, we have our own streaming service, so there's a lot of ways to find us there, Jesse. You can go to AFR.net and there'll be some drop downs there, and you can listen live, watch live, and our own streaming service.
Yeah. Thank you, Brother Jacob.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I said Jesse. I meant Jacob.
Jacob calling there from KY, Western KY.
All right, now we do have a Jesse coming up
now?
from Louisiana. Jesse is calling in. Jesse, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hello.
Hey, Brother Jesse. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Do you want to ask, where do you live in Louisiana? I'm just curious.
Pineville, Louisiana.
Okay.
Hey, Jesse, have you been listening since the first of the show when I said something about Louisiana, about the bayou?
Yeah, and I appreciate that joke.
And Jesse is saying he doesn't want to hear it
He
again.
doesn't want to hear it again. Yeah. All right, buddy. Ask, answer, or
In a
do
nice
both.
way.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I was going to answer one, but the guy just answered it on the Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Do you think it was true?
Oh, I thought it was true. He's never made a three-pointer.
Yeah.
Or maybe one,
He's only
was
made,
it? Yeah.
He's only made one. Yeah. I wish he was
Yeah,
a little
because
bigger.
I've seen him before in a game, and the guy was good under the net, but you get him away from the net, you can forget it.
He played at LSU, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
he was a star, yeah.
I wish he was a little bigger. He needs to eat more, eat more dessert, eat a bowl of ice cream at night or something. He just looks sickly.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems like a great athlete. You know, he's very personable and all that.
He's a lot of fun.
Hey,
at
I tell you what,
too.
Jesse,
Yes,
I got
sir.
a challenge for you, and I'll send you
Okay.
I'll send you an AFR stainless steel travel mug if you can do this.
What's that?
Between now and the end of the show, can you say amen 773,692
Oh, that's not
times?
right.
What?
That's not. That's.
He could get started right now.
Well,
He'll
that-
never get that.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, maybe another time.
Yeah.
Amen, 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 amen.
Hey,
All right.
Jesse, what's your question for us?
Okay, what is the name of the longest mountain range? And a hint, it's under the Atlantic Ocean.
You on the planet you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, what's the name of the long? Okay, all right, guys. There's a mountain range, under the ocean, out in the Atlantic. Is it in the Atlantic?
That's what he's asking. It's in the Atlantic.
He said Atlantic.
He said it's in the Atlantic.
Okay.
You know the name of it?
Yeah, I do.
Come on, Tim.
What?
We can stall.
Come on, Gray Matter.
Hold on.
Syntaps.
It's
Unite.
It was in Hunt for Red October. They talked about it. And
that trench is right there.
It's a trench. It's a trench.
No, the Marianas. You're talking about the Marianas.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what I am
Pacific.
talking. Oh, it's in
That's
the
73,000.
We don't know. What's
Yeah.
the answer, Jesse?
It's called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That's the mountain range.
Okay.
Okay, and
That's good
where is
trivia.
that out there by Bermuda? Where is that?
I couldn't tell you. I looked up this on trivia because I had no questions for y'all, so I said, let me at least do something. I can't answer what they had.
There you go.
Okay, so it's called the Mid-Atlantic what now?
Range?
Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
Ridge.
Oh, good trivia.
Wow.
Jesse.
That's the longest in the world.
But but I did see one about the Mariana, and I chose against that. I think that was the longest trench or something.
Yeah.
Deepest.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for
Deepest,
listening.
maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesse, thanks for listening to AFR. Have a great weekend.
All right, my John Travolta question's gone unanswered.
Listen, when it gets answered, all of us are going to start imitating him.
My question
I can't
is,
wait.
I can't believe in the 1970s hit sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter. What was John Travolta's character's name? His full name, y'all know it.
I'll just tell you, Tim, this is why our country's going downhill. There are not enough people watching
Right,
television.
Right. Go ahead and repeat y'all's questions for the last time. Dave.
All right, I've got two questions remaining. What famous product did John Pemberton create? And folks, somebody answered earlier that it was Dr. Pepper. That is incorrect, but it is a soft drink. So I'll give you a hint here because we've just got 12 minutes left.
Man, you're helping the
I'm
Fresca
helping.
fans. Oh, did I say that? I'm so sorry.
Who is the NBA player with the most consecutive games hitting at least one 3-point shot? And I'm just going to drop the second part of it. If you're a basketball fan, you probably know the answer to this. So that's it.
Here's what I've got. First question: which is the only planet in our solar system to rotate clockwise? Which is the only planet in our solar system that rotates clockwise? Second question: name the former St. Louis Cardinals player who is the only major league player in history to ever hit 2 grand slams in a single inning.
All right, so back to the phones. Who's next?
All right, did you give?
You want to give yours?
Already did.
Okay. All right, we go to Texas, and Joanne.
Remember the Welcome Back, Kotter?
That's the only one you got.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Joanne is on the line. Joanne, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Thank you.
Where you live in Texas, Joanne?
I'm way out in West Texas in Odessa.
Yeah,
That
good
is
oil
way out
country,
there.
Midland, Odessa.
Yeah. Do you ever say
Oh,
Odessa
yes.
without saying?
Oilfield country.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'll tell you, it is pretty country out there. All the mountains and the nice valleys. Isn't that?
And the pump jacks and the mesquite.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think.
I was kidding about the
you
nice
were.
terrain.
Yeah.
It's flat.
It's,
Yeah. Yes.
It's kind of like prairie land.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love seeing those tumbleweeds. First time I ever saw a tumbleweed was in West Texas. That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah,
the
they'll almost knock you down.
And the jackalopes. I remember seeing a couple of postcards with those jackalopes. And it was a picture of it, so it was true.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
The fire ants out there are pretty too.
The fire ants are pretty.
Yeah.
Joanne, you want to ask, answer, or do both, dear?
It's seasonal though.
Yes.
I want to do both.
Which one you feel confident about?
Pemberton.
Oh, okay. See, I kind of loosened the.
Been a source of controversy around here today.
All right,
the
Joanne.
Pemberton.
Here's the question. I did look this up to double check, but I saw this on a show last week called "The Food That Built America." Very fascinating, talking about cornflakes and all that kind of stuff. But here's the question: what famous product did John Pemberton create, Joanne?
I believe that was Coca-Cola.
It was
Coca-Cola in Atlanta.
Yep. Yes.
Now, don't want to get too far off. Cornflakes invented for a mental
sanitarium.
mental hospital.
Yeah.
And they invented that for the people that were there in the asylum.
Joanne, do you know what the story of Coca-Cola much?
I don't have a whole lot of information on it.
I want to say that the recipe the man created was in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and then they bottled it in Atlanta.
That was one of the first bottling plants was in Vicksburg.
Yeah, it was because what John Pemberton, the guy who bought the Coca-Cola recipe from John Pemberton did something unique. He allowed people to become franchise owners and do their own bottling. And so one was in Vicksburg, and they were scattered around the country.
Okay.
It had cocaine in it originally, just a little trace, hence the name Coca-Cola.
Right.
And then, of course, it didn't take them long to...
and the federal government, according to this show, actually sued the guy who wound up buying Coca-Cola because he removed the Coke from it.
Yeah.
Cocaine from
That
it.
cocaine.
And they said it's false advertising.
That's what motivated Eric Clapton's song.
Yes.
If you read about that, it's a really
unique tie-in.
Wild story.
Yeah.
All right, Joanne, just for my own personal benefit, did you answer that question because I kind of gave a few hints?
She did. She got it right.
All right. Okay.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Yes, ma'am.
I had a first grade teacher who would, in the afternoon, she would get her a Coke, drink a Coke, and this was years and years ago because I'm quite old. She would drink her Coke, say, okay, everybody put your head down and take a nap on the desk. And I think that was when it still had Coke in it.
Wow.
So she was
stimulant
kicking back, too.
Now, Joanne,
Yeah.
since I've already hinted towards your age and you're a Texan gal, we're three Southern boys. Do you remember when some of your folks pour a little thing of peanuts, a little bag of peanuts in a Coke and drink it? Because they do that here in the South.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They did that when I was growing up as well.
Right. That helps give it a little extra something.
Well,
Yes, but not Coke.
Ed's an adopted.
Yeah, in Boston they don't do that, do
No,
they?
they don't.
Yeah.
And I will say, when I pastored a church, they all tried to get me to do that.
You've
The
never
peanuts
done
in
it?
the Coke. I did it one time, and I thought it was disgusting.
What?
I did. I'm
Give it
sorry.
another chance, Ed. Really, give it another. If nothing else, for the sizzle that it makes in your mouth, it's like having Pop Rocks in your mouth.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Joanne.
What's your question for us?
Okay. We all know that Jesus descended from David's son Solomon. Joseph, not Jesus. Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus, was a descendant of David's son Solomon. But Mary was also descended from David. What was the name of David's son through whom Mary descended?
That's some good
Joanne,
trivia.
that is a really good question. We're talking about
Yeah.
the genealogy in the New Testament. I don't know.
I didn't have that in Vacation Bible School.
That flannel graph they overlooked, didn't they? Hey, that's great trivia. What's the answer, Joanne?
Well, and is there a significance to that? I ran across that when I was reading in Luke. The genealogy of Mary in Luke tells us that Mary was descended from David's son Nathan. And is there significance to the fact that David named a son Nathan through whom Mary came?
You talking about the prophet Nathan that tied to that?
No, David's son Nathan. Mary came through him.
Yeah, but you're saying what was significant about the name Nathan? Is that what you're asking?
Is there significance in the fact that Mary descended from David's son Nathan?
I apologize.
That's good.
I don't know. You guys know?
No, I don't, but that's good.
Go ahead and tell us, Joanne. What's the answer?
Well, we know that when David sinned, who was the one who confronted his sin?
Yeah, that'd be the prophet Nathan.
Nathan, yes. So I think, to me, when I read that in Luke, it's like, oh, wow, that's confirmation that sin needs to be confronted. And God honored that by allowing Mary to come through a son named Nathan. That's in the genealogy in Luke, if you would read. I was just reading that one day, and I thought, wow, that's cool.
It is.
Thank you, Joanne.
And I wonder if he named his son after the prophet
that's what I was
Nathan because he had such a close relationship.
Thank you, Joanne. We always love Bible trivia.
Yes.
All right, we go to Ohio, and Donald is on the line. Donald, welcome to Trivia Friday. And Donald, we are coming up towards the end of the program, so we probably need to make this pretty quickly. So welcome to Trivia Friday.
Yeah. Thank you. I realize that you're out of time. I'm not even going to try to answer any of the questions. I don't have a clue on what's left. But I wanted to ask you an Andy Griffith question.
Okay.
And if you can get it right, I'll send you guys a travel mug. How's that?
All right.
All right.
Love it.
Or send us some Buckeyes. Some of those chocolate Buckeyes,
Okay, I can do
Donald. Okay.
Okay. I know if you watch Andy Griffith, you know who Malcolm Merriweather is, Englishman that rides a bike into Mayberry.
Yeah.
Okay. What city was he from in England?
Oh, man.
Rottingham.
it was what?
Rottingham?
Rottingham?
I mean,
talking about Nottingham?
I got my shows mixed up.
Nottingham, you mean?
Well, that was a sheriff. Andy Griffith was a sheriff.
Yes,
am I right?
it all
Nottingham.
It all fits
Hey, we
together.
don't know what's the answer, Donald.
He was from Ecklandwhite, England.
Okay.
Oh man, I was just going to guess Liverpool because somebody came over here from there. I don't
Seemed
remember
like
who that
somebody
was.
were. Oh, was it the Beatles?
Yeah, the Beatles.
Donald,
So-
that's a very good question.
That's
So
a
you're a
deep
big fan.
dive.
You're a big fan there of the show, huh? Of the Andy
Yes,
Griffith
of
show.
the show
Yeah.
and of your radio station.
Well, thank you,
I
brother.
give you guys. Well, I give you a lot of credit for me becoming a born again Christian in December.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
How did you hear about us?
Actually, a pastor friend of mine recommended your station to me, and that's several
awesome.
years ago. I've been listening ever since.
Well, thank you, Donald.
Hey,
Appreciate
Donald,
it, brother.
I'm going to put you on hold. We're just about done. And Cindy's going to get your address, and we're going to send you a travel mug.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations. Was that this past December?
I just put them
Okay.
on hold. All right. NBA player with the most consecutive games hitting at least one three-point shot, Steph Curry, 5 years of worth of games.
Wow.
Without missing a three.
Which is the only planet in our solar system to rotate clockwise?
Yeah, you told me before the show. I would have guessed it. Venus.
And then the St. Louis Cardinal, only one to hit 2 grand slams in a single inning. Tim?
Fernando Tatis.
Yes, sir.
And his
son is a star these days.
Oh.
Hey, so want to say hello to Harold in Decatur, Mississippi. He got us back on the air there just before the show went on.
Oh, good. Thank you, Harold.
Thank you, Harold. In the 1970s hit Welcome Back, Kotter, who was John Travolta's character's name?
Benny Barbarino.
Benny Barbarino. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildman, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Well,